Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Top 5 on MacGuffinPodcast.com. I am Brandi.
And I am Allen.
And today we will be discussing Top 5 comebacks. We're going to see who's been down and then gotten back up again.
Yes, they rise. So did you want to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
My number 5 is a personal favorite of mine, and that is Macaulay Culkin, who was a child star up until about 94 or something with Richie Rich, I think was the last movie that he did as a kid. And then he came back in 2003, 2004 with Party Monster and Saved, and kind of showed everyone that he could be an adult actor. And an argument could be made that he's in need of a second comeback. But
That's pretty much what I was going to say.
But I wanted to get him in there because I love Macaulay Culkin.
I understand your love for Macaulay Culkin, because I really enjoyed him too as a kid. But do you really consider his roles in Party Monster and Saved as actual comebacks, though? I mean, was he even like the lead actor in those films?
No, but I think
Party
that
Monster
he
was? Okay.
I think that was a smart choice, though, to like not try and carry a film when people are still thinking of him as this.
But he didn't like
little
really
rich
like
kid.
blow up into the public eye like all the other people in our list.
No, but I
mean,
think
don't you
he's I think he's respected because of that, though.
respected. But then you just said that he's in need of another comeback, right?
Yeah, he hasn't been in anything again for a while, but
All right. I'll give
maybe
you
we'll
that.
see him again on this list come 5 years from now.
Macaulay Culkin, I'm with you, man. All right, so my number 5 is not an actor. It's actually a director. And this is actually kind of like you, more of a personal choice. And it's Francis Ford Coppola with his film Tetro. Now, I don't know, have you ever heard of this film at all or anything about
Is this
it?
the weird one that he did last year?
This is the great one he did last year. The one with Vincent
The one that
Gallo.
nobody saw?
It's true. No one ever, I don't think anyone besides me watched this film, but honestly, this movie is great. I think this is probably his best film in the last maybe 10 years. I mean...
Has he made any other films in the last 10 years?
I actually wrote them down. Well, this is actually maybe the last 20 years. Before doing Tetro, he did Godfather 3, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Jack, The Rainmaker, Youth Without Youth. Track record that's not that great.
I forgot about Jack.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, really? Robin Williams? But anyway, I really think you need to give Tetro
All right,
a
yeah, that's
shot.
not the greatest run, but okay.
The film is about two brothers who are writers, and they meet up in Buenos Aires, and they kind of have this sort of rivalry thing going on. They're both sons of this guy who's like a genius music composer.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of twists and turns. The reason why I like it is because it kind of resembles a little bit of Coppola's own family. You know, he's comes from a family of a bunch of actors and really like talented people. It's shot great. It's acted great. The black and white photography.
I don't know if you can call it a comeback if no one's ever watched it, though. I think that's a stretch.
Personal choice. Okay, Miss Macaulay Culkin. Let's move on.
My number 4 is someone who lots of people have watched in lots of things, and maybe calling it a comeback is also a little bit stretched because I don't know if she ever really stopped being totally awesome, but it is Betty White. And the 2010 is turning into the year of Betty White. She is everywhere, you know. She's going to be on Community coming up. She's in like multiple romantic comedies. She's got her own sitcom again. She's with John Hamm at the Emmys doing all kinds of hilarious skits. I mean, she is having a late life renaissance, and I love it.
That's true. Kind of like how you actually pointed out, she never really did go away, did she? I mean, she's always been constantly working. Right?
Yeah, but I mean, she is everywhere. Like probably since she was in The Proposal, right? Like she's just been like everywhere since then.
That's true. I mean, everyone knows Betty White.
Yeah.
I mean, I have nothing against her. I think she's great. She's a great comedian, but I don't think she really went anywhere.
You have nothing against Betty White.
I have nothing against her. I really enjoy her. I think she's really
I would never think
funny.
that anyone would have anything against Betty White.
Oh, I mean, how can you? I mean, she's lovable.
Except for I think maybe B. Arthur didn't like her that much back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Spencer's trying to say something. What do you want to say, Spencer?
Snickers commercial.
She was in that Snickers commercial,
yes,
and Abe Vigoda is so mad that he's not reaping the same benefits.
Sorry, Ava Goda. People love Betty White. What are you gonna do?
Sorry.
Okay, moving on. This is a great top 5. My number 4 was an actor who started hot out of the gate. Let me just name off a couple of films he was in when he first started out. We have The Wild One, Streetcar Named Desire, On the Waterfront. Does this guy do these films remind you of anybody?
Marlon Brando?
Yes, it is Marlon Brando. So, like I said, started out really hot out of the gate. Won an Oscar
Really
for...
hot. God, he was hot back then.
Sure. He won an Oscar for On the Waterfront. But pretty much after that, you know, during the late 50s and throughout the 60s, he didn't really make anything remarkable other than like a few films here and there. But then a guy named Francis Ford Coppola got to hook up with him and make this little film called The Godfather. I mean, you know, The Godfather. What else can you say about The Godfather? It's one of the greatest films ever made. Marlon Brando starring as, you know, one of the iconic characters of all of moviedom, you know. Whenever someone sees that movie and that character, I mean, everyone knows it, you know. I mean, what else can you say, right? I mean, he won an Oscar for that film, and then, I mean, right after that, he did Last Tango in Paris. So, I mean, good going, Marlon Brando.
Yeah. Way to end the career.
Well, I mean, his career didn't really end after Last Tango. I mean, it kept going. I mean, it wasn't as good as...
Get some high notes in there towards the end instead of just tapering off.
True.
But that's a good one. All right.
Thank you.
My number 3 is Dennis Hopper, who I don't know if a lot of people think of him as being a comeback sort of a person, but... between Apocalypse Now in 1979 and Blue Velvet in 1986, dude was not on top of the world. I mean, we're talking serious drug problems.
Wow.
Like,
see, I'm not very keen on Dennis Hopper history, so you gotta let me know what's going on.
This is me letting you know what's going on.
Oh, okay.
Really, like, his career was going nowhere post then. I mean... Easy Rider 1969, and then, you know, he tries to start making his own films. They're not that well received because he's a weird dude. He's got a lot of art house stuff going on. Apocalypse Now was itself kind of a comeback because he hadn't really acted in a hit film in a while, and then, you know, it was really Blue Velvet that started him on what people think of him now as just being like a really solid character actor.
Okay. Excellent. I mean... I got nothing else to say. Like I said, I don't really know Dennis Hopper all that well. I don't know his filmography very well. Other than Speed, he was awesome in Speed.
Speed is one of my faves. That was a good one.
It is, yes.
For sure.
All right. So moving on, my number 3 is an actor who started hot out of the gate. In the 80s, he pretty much dominated with some films called Body Heat, Diner, Rumblefish, The Pope of Greenwich Village, Angel Heart, and Barfly.
Barfly is great.
This actor is better known as Mickey Rourke. I mean, after the 80s into the 90s, he kind of fell off the map with public eye. I mean, he got into boxing. He started like some bad relationships with some producers and filmmakers. His comeback,
questionable choices about what he put into his body, probably. I'll just say that.
Not really get into that there, but so his comeback actually was kind of slow. You gotta thank a guy named Robert Rodriguez for pretty much bringing him back with Once Upon a Time in Mexico and Sin City. But it wasn't until The Wrestler where he made his explosion back out into the main public eye.
And that is an amazing movie and an amazing performance.
Yeah.
Like, I really wanted him to win the Oscar for that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, of all people, why did Sean Penn have to win the Oscar on that one? But I mean, that boggles my mind, really. Yeah, I mean, it was a great performance. I mean, he physically transformed. He did not look like anything. I mean, the Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler did not look like the Mickey Rourke from Diner. I mean, physically, the way he talked, I mean, the dude, I don't know, like, I mean, something was going on there. I mean, he went way too far, I think, in the physical transformation. I mean, great performance. It's a great comeback. And then from there, it got him the job on Iron Man 2 and The Expendables.
Yeah,
so
I hope he stays there, you know. I hope
he's definitely talented, so I hope he keeps going. Yeah, ride the wave.
My number 2 is Katharine Hepburn, who is another one that people probably don't think of as having had a comeback, but actually, before the Philadelphia story, which we have talked about before, she had a string of flops and was basically just considered box office poison. After she had won 2 Oscars already, and like she won her first one in 1933, and then maybe she didn't win another one before this happened, but she went back to the stage, and the Philadelphia Story was a play that was written for her, and it was such a hit that she insisted on having it made into a movie, and it ended up winning a slew of Oscars, including an Oscar for her, an Oscar for Jimmy Stewart, an Oscar for the screenplay, and, you know, from then on, she was nominated for practically every film she ever did, you know, like, I think Meryl Streep just beat her record.
Yeah, I mean,
most nominations.
Katharine Hepburn is definitely, she's got to be considered one of the greatest actresses of all time. You're more of the expert than I am on classic cinema, so I don't know. What do you think? Am I getting the sign to move on? Okay, I'm getting the sign to move on. So
trust me, she had a hell of a comeback.
All right. So moving on, my number 2 is John Travolta in a little movie called Pulp Fiction. Pretty much the dude was like a heartthrob in his early career, right? He did Saturday Night Fever. He was on Grease, Welcome Back, Kotter. He was great, but then
people love the guy.
Yeah, but then after staying alive in '83, his career pretty much sputtered. He didn't really do anything great. The biggest, most notable films that he did in the '80s was Look Who's Talking, Look Who's Talking 2, and Look Who's Talking Now. So that's like a trilogy that I don't think he can really be proud of anyway.
But anyway, the first one.
Yeah. So Pulp Fiction. Once again, it's a film that everyone's talked about. It's been talked about a lot here on the MacGuffin. It's great original story, a great character in Vincent Vega.
Of course, that's another one where I could argue that he might be in need of another comeback.
I don't know. He's been doing steady work ever since then, right?
But in anything that good?
Obviously. Vincent Vega is kind of like a one-in-a-lifetime character, but... I guess. Yeah.
But unlike my number 1 comeback, who just keeps doing great movie after great movie, it seems, which is Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
What else needs to be said? Because everyone has talked about this a lot in the last couple of years, I think. Just, it's crazy that he came back from... he'd won an Oscar already for Chaplin. He was this, darling...
He did win an Oscar for Chaplin.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't win an Oscar for Chaplin.
Yeah, he did.
No,
he won
did.
Best Actor.
No, he lost to Al Pacino for Son of a Woman. Boom!
We're going to have to verify that. But, anyway, then, it was the whole, drugs story again. And now, he's the biggest movie star in the world, practically.
Yeah, it's a great story. The guy was big in the 80s, and then he just went into all this trouble and all these, with the law and everything like that. I don't know if you saw it, but I saw when he was, in the courtroom, and he's, trying to apologize and everything like that, and it's just so sad. And now to see him at the top of the acting world, it's really great. Who doesn't love Robert Downey Jr.?
Nobody. All right, what's your number 1?
My number 1 pick is going back to classic cinema with Gloria Swanson in Sunset Boulevard.
Nice.
This is the ultimate comeback role, because to me, the film
playing herself.
Yeah, it's so close to real life. It's crazy. I was doing research on it. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Her butler, Eric von Stroheim, was the director, both in real life and in the film. When they meet up with Cecil B. DeMille as himself,
awesome.
He was an actual director. When they visit the studio, it's the actual studio. I don't know how close to reality you can get with a film like this. It's great. And
it is great. That's a great number 1.
Thank you. High five.
All right. What's that?
Nominated.
Dang. All right. Only nominated for Chaplin. Whatever. All right. Well, that has been another Top 5 here on MacGuffinPodcast.com. You can find other Top 5s and other original content on the website.
Bye-bye.